So have you seen the movie One Cut of the Dead? Well, we got a remake for you that I didn't even know was a remake until we pressed play. And then I was like, Kaylee, actually, right as we were pressing play, you were like, the poster looks like One Cut of the Dead.
Yeah.
And then it started, and within a minute, you're like, this is a One Cut of the Dead remake.
Yeah.
Whoa. What? How have I not heard about this?
Yeah.
Because One Cut of the Dead was a very beloved indie that came out a few years back, had swept the festivals with nothing but praise and excitement. And I watched it and was like, oh, at first I thought it was really bad. And then that's the gimmick, is that it is really bad. But then you find out what's actually happening to explain that. So if you are not familiar with One Cut of the Dead, I will just say this really quick before I say the rest. If you are a massive fan of One Cut of the Dead, this is going to be totally pointless to you. This is almost exactly the same film, but in French. This is not an American remake. This is a French remake, and it is from the director of The Artist. The writer and director of The Artist. Yes, the movie that won Best Picture of the year at the Academy Awards, The Artist. A film I personally love. And the main actress from that film is like one of the main actresses in this as well. I was shocked by that. But yeah, I think that if you're someone who's like, oh, well, does it deviate enough from the original for me to bother with it? No. You might as well just watch the original. I honestly think there's more charm in the original, even though this one is more polished. It definitely has a higher budget and is a little bit more refined and well shot. But the great thing about the original is how charming the low budget is and how they don't let it limit them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like it kind of takes that away from it, and it doesn't add enough to justify its existence. It's not like it changes enough. Because I had said in my review, if you watch my review for One Cut of the Dead, I had said, people are going to call me crazy, but I think this movie would actually do really well with a remake, because I find the first 40 minutes, the One Cut of the Dead part of the movie, to be kind of boring and kind of lame. And like, while that's the point, it checks a lot of people out. And you I want that to be redone in a way where it's super funny and interesting, and you keep doing these WTF moments, and you're like, what the hell? What's wrong with this movie?
Yeah.
Right? And then it's revealed later on, like, oh, that's what's wrong with that movie. And while that does happen, it just doesn't happen in an entertaining enough way. Both times now, I've seen One Cut of the Dead twice, and I've seen this once, so 3 times. But both times, all 3 times, I don't care for that first, I don't care for the movie they made.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, but, you'll get what I'm talking about if you watch the movie. As far as the plot line goes, there's a camera crew that's making a one-shot zombie apocalypse movie, and while they're making their movie, a real zombie apocalypse breaks out. Wink, wink, for anyone who knows what's actually happening in this movie. What did you think about this compared to One Cut of the Dead?
I mean, personally, I think I prefer the original.
Yeah.
I think part of that is because I like the Japanese. But I think that this has it really is a pretty faithful, remake. So there's not a lot of differences that I, notice watching it.
There's some, but
there's
very
a few.
Yeah.
And there's some things that I think are funny because it's a French remake. Like, for example, they keep the Japanese names in the film that they're making, which is very funny to hear French people saying Japanese names. And then there's some stuff at the end with who's producing the movie and whatnot that was kind of funny. But I mean, it's a great story. I think the concept is really cool. So that's what is so interesting about the movie, is not only the one take of it, but also just the idea behind it, the gimmick, which I'm really into for sure. But I mean, it was fine. It was just basically seeing that same movie with French actors, and like I enjoyed it for sure. Just, but I would say that I prefer the original because I don't think I necessarily felt like I needed a remake.
No.
And I know that that's how you felt, as you just said. But for me, I think everything works well. Although I understand what you're saying about making it a little bit more entertaining. I think that that would do it justice for sure. But I'm just happy with everything that goes on in the original. So
Yeah, once you hit that 40-minute mark, the whole rest of this concept is great and done well, and I don't
yeah,
have any issues with that part of things. Um, but yeah, I think that if you were to watch either of these, you would get the same kind of experience. So if you haven't seen either of these, you could really choose either one you want. I just think that sticking with the original and seeing the limitations of it
mm-hmm.
adds to the charm of it. And knowing they
Yeah.
made it for like, I think memory serves, it was like $27,000 or something.
Mm.
But correct me if I'm wrong on that. It's been years. But regardless, I will tell you that the original does the one take in one take
Right.
for
Oh
real.
yes, yeah,
And in this one, they do the one take in two takes. I actually
yeah,
looked it up.
yeah.
So still impressive, but the
Sure.
first one being an actual one take is pretty wild
It's cool. I mean, one takes are always, when they're accomplished, they're always impressive
if they can
if
actually
they
pull
can
it
do it
off.
because it's so difficult and
It's not only difficult, but because of what they're making
yeah,
and what it reveals itself to be,
it's
that's what makes it
insane.
insanely complicated.
Right.
Right? Because there's so many layers
Yeah.
to the one take that has to be hit on later.
Yes.
That you're like, damn, dude, you really got to hit your marks on this.
Everything, yeah.
Because then everything has to hit its marks later.
Right.
To line up with this.
Yeah. This remake has a higher production quality for sure. I don't know if you said that already. So like the look of the film is definitely higher than the original, but as you've been saying, like I think that adds to the charm too. So I don't particularly feel like that needed to be improved upon, but I mean, like I think if, for someone like the director loves the original and like just wanted to remake it out of like, fun, it's still well made and it's still good. So it's kind of just like, I guess pick or choose, like if you prefer French or Japanese. Really, like
yeah, it's a competent remake. I mean, it's good.
Yeah,
I think everyone in it is
yeah. They do their roles well.
Yeah,
and yeah,
I just prefer the Japanese one.
I do too,
for sure. But I think this. I mean, if someone was to tell me I prefer this one, I wouldn't be like, what?
No, I think they're both very comparable.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
yeah,
yeah.
It's definitely gonna be like a not an acquired taste, a preference.
Yeah, whichever one is your preference.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think one is way better or way worse than the other one.
Yeah, I agree.
There's gonna be some people who are purists and are like, fuck remakes and and anything that's a remake is garbage by definition and blah blah whatever. I don't care about any of those people. This is a fine remake. Yeah. It's completely unnecessary. But if you speak French,
sure,
then you're gonna be like, French, oh yeah, I'd much rather watch this version.
Yeah, I think that's probably the big appeal. Like
or
if
Japanese,
you're French, or if you're a Japanese speaker. But yeah, if you speak French, this would be exciting. Like if they made an English, like an American or a British remake, where they're speaking English, I mean that would be really interesting to watch it in like your native tongue and not have to read subtitles, of course. But
this is actually the original one. Actually, supposedly has like a sequel to it. I've never seen. And then I'm still sticking to my guns though. I still think an English remake with amping up that beginning part. I just feel like this could be better, and I know people get on me for that, but I'm telling you, this could be better. But it's still really cool as is.
Yeah,
that's it. I think that's a lot of movies, though. Anything can be better for the most part, especially me.
Oh, you're perfect. But you can always improve.
Sure. What are you saying?
I love you.
All right, guys. Hey, we got to give it to them. We're the one-take people.
We are.
We do everything in one take.
We do everything in one take, except our vlogs.
But we don't do scripts, and we don't do prep, and we literally just sit down and press play.
Yeah.
Or record. Not play.
We press
Play wouldn't do, play wouldn't do anything. We'd just be watching ourselves. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay.